iRFFB. What is it? What does it do? And why can I not play iRacing without it? Find out in this video. Welcome back to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. Click that like button and subscribe if you enjoy simulator content, you filthy sim fans. So, I want to be as quick as possible with this because I don't want you to die of boredom, and you just need to use this application, basically. You need to get it. You need to try it. So, iRFFB is a separate force feedback application for iRacing. It's not part of iRacing. It's not endorsed by iRacing. It's totally separate. And what it basically allows you to do is generate additional force feedback, or have more control and have different force feedback than what you would get out of iRacing out of the box. Now, the reason iRFFB was originally invented, I believe, was so that you could have higher filtered force feedback. So if you were using a direct drive wheel like the original SimuCube with the disco boards and stuff, the iRacing's force feedback frequency wasn't that high, and it would feel a little bit grainy and just a little bit unnatural. It didn't feel very rubbery, or it just felt a bit grainy and unnatural. And this application filtered the force feedback and made it smoother. That would also probably apply for wheels like the Club Sport Wheelbase V2 and the CSLE Elite, and maybe the TSPC Racer. However, the thing is now, FANATEC DD1 that I'm using the Podium, DD2, SimuCube 2, and all those wheels, they all have interpolation on the software, which is probably better than what this does anyway. So you've got interpolation on the DD wheels, so you don't really need to use that, but I still do. Why not? The biggest thing, and the biggest reason that I use this, and what makes it so good, is the specific effect that it has called the seat of the pants effect, which basically adds a G-force type loading field to the force feedback. So as you go around a corner, as the back of the car gets loaded up, you feel that force feedback change and the load in the force feedback change, to know that when it's at maximum resistance that you can't put any more weight on the side of the tires, or that side that's got the weight on, without risking spinning or going over the limit. This is particularly important in iRacing because of all the simulators, realistic or not realistic, everyone's going to debate that forever. Of all the simulators, iRacing has one of the most punishing limits and most punishing tire models, in terms of it. Once you go over the limit, you're pretty much done. And if you're not done in terms of losing control with most cars, you're done in that you're getting a slide that you just have to, a passenger slide that you just have to wait to finish. And the key thing with iRFFB is it lets you feel the car load up before you actually go over the limit, so you can feel an approach to the limit, especially with formula cars, for you to basically keep the car under the limit as best possible, allowing you to then push really hard and know that your car's not going to just lose it on you. With the default iRacing force feedback, you don't know a lot of the time. There's no real feel for that. It's like you do have a range of force feedback for some aspects of the tyre, and especially suspension and track texture, and there are some things that come through the force feedback, but it's really not a distinctive feel through every single car, and with the force feedback with every single car. So at the end of the day, when it comes to formula cars, the LMP2, this is the F2.0 or the F3.0. I think it's 2.0 that I'm driving now. Wasn't paying attention. Anything that's got a high grip, slick tyre race car, iRFFB completely transforms things. But it is worth saying that when it comes to cars like the Skip Barber, maybe the Porsche, stuff that generally slides around a bit more because they're not that grippy vehicles, iRFFB isn't that noticeable in the effect that it has. Though it is better, I find, than not having iRFFB. But it's just, you know, there's so much with the Skip Barber, for example. It's got so much slip that's controllable. You're not, when you're driving optimally with the Skip Barber, you're not trying to hold it under the limit. You're actually holding it at a bit of a slip angle, and it's perfectly fine. And it's because it's got road tyres on it, it's very recoverable and drivable in that physics state, as opposed to these vehicles. So if you're driving the faster vehicles, but you need iRFFB. It's the only way to play it. Now, the way I have it set up, very simple. I just, as I say, just have the seat of the pants effect. I either put it on 100 or within like 70 to 100. That depends how strong you want that seat of the pants effect to be. The max force setting here, the lower this is, the stronger the force feedback will be. in theory, I think you're supposed to put this at the Newton meters that your wheel does, so it all scales properly. I actually run it at sort of a much higher setting, and I also run my force feedback on my wheel at like 52. That might be incorrect. It might not be the best way to do things, but that's just what I've found. Gives me nice feel and details to know what's going on with the vehicle. As I say, lower will make the force feedback stronger, higher will make it weaker, I guess, because it's scaling the force feedbacks into a larger or smaller range. If you have it low and it's clipping nicely, the application does give you a little warning here. It says force feedback was clipping, and also really nicely, this saves your settings on a car-by-car basis automatically. So as you go into a different car, it will automatically load that car's settings if you have a different car setting, obviously. Absolutely bloody fantastic. Now, before you do go out and get this, you really need to make sure you install it using VJoy. Because if you don't, there will be like input latency. You can test it, you can download and test it without VJoy and see what it kind of feels like and be like, oh, that might work, that might be interesting. If you don't want to fiddle with installing VJoy, I mean, it's not that much of a fiddle installing VJoy, but you can at least test it without that, but it will have that latency in there. So if you do commit to using it, you really need to use the VJoy version to avoid that 30 or so milliseconds of additional latency. Underneath the video, I will post a link to iRFFB, and I'll also type in the version number of VJoy that I'm using, because I know some people are having some issues with VJoy in terms of the version number that works with this, and also a version that works with my flight sim pedal shenanigans video. But that is pretty much it for iRFFB. What I would also say is, after watching this video, don't go! After watching this video, type in iRFFB Alien Sim Racer. He's done real-world driving. He explains in more detail why iRFFB is so good and the nature of force feedback and tire limit stuff in iRacing and why it's a little bit hokey-cokey. Alien Sim Racer. Subscribe to his channel. As I say, he's a really fast real-world driver, so his explanations are good and backed up. Yes. If you found this enjoyable and useful, make sure that you click the like button. Give us a subscribe if you don't know the channel. Click the bell as well. I do tons of live streaming if you're new. And it's just us having fun with subscribers. It's not too serious. We're not an up the arse sim racing channel. We're nice and chill. And that's it though. That is it, guys. We also have review playlists that you might want to watch. Enough advertising my own channel. But yes, guys. Thank you very much for watching this. Happy sim racing. My tea's finished. What a sad cup of tea. I was going to say happy tea drinking. Not for me. Happy tea drinking. Unhappy finished tea drinking. And goodbye, guys.